All right, our paper should be horizontal in front of us, the long edge down by our tummy. Just watch before you draw. Using your Sharpie, we're gonna draw a line towards the bottom of our paper. I'm gonna use my fingers as a spacer. This line should be about 2 fingers spaced from the bottom. And this line is going to be a zigzag line. So I'm starting on the edge. My zigzags could be little or tall. They could be wide or together. This zigzag line is gonna stretch all the way across your paper till it reaches the other edge. Remember, you're starting 2 finger spaces from the bottom, stretching the whole length of the paper. We're gonna pause the video and you can start. Your second line is going to be 2 finger spaces again. So I'm kind of going from that highest point on my zigzag. This next line is going to be a bumpy line, but it's going to look like W's. If you think you know what this is, please do not blurt it out. So they look like W's stretching the whole length of the paper. Some kind of go up and down, and that's okay. Go ahead and draw your bumpy W line while we pause the video. Your next line is going to be another bumpy line, but just watch how it's different. I'm gonna go about 2 finger spaces again so that they're not touching and there's not this big space where I'm going up here. About 2 finger spaces. I'm gonna make this bumpy line. This time, it looks like the letter M. My bumps are going the other way, all the way across. Your turn while we pause the video. This next line is going to be another zigzag line, 2 finger spaces. This zigzag line though, they're much wider, all the way across the paper, about 2 finger spaces. Go ahead while we pause the video. This next line is going to be a little tricky. It's not going to go on top. It's going to go right under that zigzag line you just made. And it's actually going to be kind of a wobbly line that follows the zigzag. So I'm making it kind of shaky, but it's still going up and down with my zigzag all the way across my paper. Go ahead. The next line is going to be another bumpy line. So I'm going to go 2 finger spaces. Some of you might be getting really close to the top of your paper. So if your W bumpy line has to kind of get chopped off a little bit, that's okay. Sneak in some W's whenever you can fit them across your paper. We have just a few more left. If you're like me, that line is really close to the top. If I do my finger spaces, I'm like reaching the top of my paper. I'm gonna try to sneak in a bumpy line that looks like an M, but it might go off the paper and it may come back on in a little piece. All the way across the top. Some of you might see the whole bumpy line. Mine got a little chopped off. Our last line that we're drawing, and we're not blurting or shouting what we think it is going to be between that first zigzag line and the W bumps. I'm going to do 2 lines side by side that connect them. And then I'm going to do 3 fingers, and I'm going to do another pair of vertical up and down lines. My fingers are just keeping them spaced apart so they're not very close. All the way across. I'm not sure how many I'll fit in, and yours might be different than mine because your fingers are tinier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I fit 6 pairs of vertical lines. All right, at this point, you are coming up to the rug. We are going to look at what this is. So if you have guesses, your teacher might pause the video while you are guessing what it is. Some of you guessed this is a landscape. We've got grass, trees, mountains, a sky, clouds. This landscape is showing space. The grass is in the front. The trees are behind it. The mountains are behind that. And then we have the sky. Your job for the rest of our class is to color this using crayons, your very, very best. You do not have to have the trees be autumn or fall. They could be green. They could be light green, dark green. The mountains don't have to be purple. They could be gray or black or whatever color you might want them. The one tricky thing about this coloring is that when you draw the mountains or color the mountains, you're going to see the mountains between those trees, but you also see the mountains above the trees. So be careful of that spacing. This should be your very, very best coloring in your mystery line landscape drawing. We'll collect your papers when you're all done.